And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a magnificent guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother, family, and friend, Brother Rashad Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, brother Josh.
Yes, sir. It's an honor to have you take time out of your busy schedule. And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for having a conversation with us today, sir.
Sir, pleasure is mine. I appreciate you having me on your platform, brother.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. Well, the first question that we have for you, Brother Rashad, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Had to be in my mother's womb, brother. My mother and my father were in the Nation of Islam since the rebuilding after the early 80s. So,
Mm.
I nursed on the word of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Miss Louis Farrakhan through my mother when I was in her womb. And just up until now, brother. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Uh, let's talk about, we'll go to your father next, but let's talk about your mother. Maybe have her name, sir.
Sister Yolanda Muhammad.
All praises due to Allah. Shout out to your mom. Yes, sir. And what is your favorite memory of, growing up in the nation and being around, being with your mother?
Man, favorite memory of being in the nation first. You're gonna laugh when I say this. When you was in the mosque and you were little, the best part to me was getting the fried fish and food after the mosque. So after the minister's giving that lecture, brother, when you little, you hungry around 2 o'clock.
Yes,
I,
sir.
I remember smelling that St. Louis Miles, brother, the fried fish, the sisters in the basement cooking plates for the guests and those who want to purchase it. So that's one of my favorite memories when I was little,
Okay.
just seeing my mom and my dad putting in that work when I was younger. It set the pace for me to want to do the same and Allah willing do a little more as we should do more in my adulthood. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Brother Rashad. Walaikum salam, Sister Miriam Muhammad. Saying, make family, walaikum salam, ma'am. Brother Rashad, what about your father? Maybe have his name and your favorite memory with him, sir.
Oh man, pops. My father's name is Tracy Muhammad. Uh man, you know, my father, he's a doer. So he was on the ministry staff when I was coming up also.
Okay.
So, it's interesting to see the blend of two because he can teach well, and you just sit under him. It's like sitting under your granddad who knows a lot, but he's my dad. So whenever I talk to him on the phone, which is probably about 5 times a week, brother, I just listen to him. I can't say a favorite memory, man, because every time I'm around my dad since I was little, I've always felt like he was like my Superman. And we taught that God is a human being, he's a man, but in reality, brother, when you're little, you don't really quite understand that. So we have to look to our parents as that example, right? So I always thought my dad was God,
Mm.
in a way when I was little, when I didn't understand. But he always taught us that he's not the God. Obviously, he pointed us to God. So our parents had to exercise certain attributes of the God so that when they turn us to the true and living God, the real God, then it would be an easy transition, if you will. So, man, my dad, it's funny. I just got a phone with him before I got on this call with you, brother. So, yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, Brother Rashad. Yes, sir. Teacher, shout out to your father. And um, Walaikum salam. Oh, Mas number 48 is checking in. Brother Demeric D. Muhammad. Thank you, Brother Demeric. Thank you, everyone who continues to show love to this podcast. Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask your father. I want to go back to your father.
Yes,
How
sir.
how did your relationship with him help mold your relationship with your children?
Man, the main thing is my dad always, since I can remember, put our head in the Holy Quran. And he always spoke of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Father Muhammad. Anything that we talked about, brother, he always related it to them. And so what that taught me is everything in our lives has to have those three components comprised in it. It has to come together. And I'm not just saying that because we're on a platform where we Muslims, man. That's real, brother. Because the more you really realize that and incorporate that into your life, the easier life becomes. Not that you won't experience difficulty, but you're able to weather difficulty a lot easier with the proper mind frame because you're doing it for the right reasons and for the men who came before us to set us on top. So, you know, man, my father, man, every time I talk to him, brother, no matter what it's about, he's always pointing me to the God. And I've learned that because when your children get older, you learn as they start asking questions, I should say, you find out you don't know everything.
Mm, mm.
So if that's the case and they ask you questions, you got to pull from he who knows it all.
Yes,
So,
sir.
you refer to the minister's tape, you refer to the messenger's books, you refer to the supreme wisdom that was left to us from the God himself. So, man, it's a beautiful thing when you really submit to this. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. You teach it, Brother Rashad, and people are bear witness in the comments.
To Allah.
Brother Daniel E. Walaikum salam, family. Brother Musa, watch it live. Walaikum salam, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Brother Rashad, you seem very serious, intense, and studious, brother. Are you? Will you ever go into the ministry?
uh, I'm actually on the ministry staff assistant, not the assistant minister, but I'm assisting on the staff. Brother Student Minister Shaheed Muhammad here in Dallas, Muhammad Mosque number 48. So I've given a few lectures here and there, and I'm learning a lot from him. He's an excellent, uh, he's really good at teaching you the principles of Islam. And if you don't know the principles of Islam, brother, you're on a shaky foundation. So, but anyway, I am on the ministry staff here in Dallas, and it's an eye opener for sure.
Praise be to Allah. Shout out to student minister Shaheed Muhammad. Everybody go back and watch the interview we did with him. Does a great job of representing. Shout
Yes,
out
sir.
to another comrade of mine and a great friend and soldier, brother student Captain Amir Muhammad out of Dallas, Texas. So shout out
My
to
big brother right there. Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir. So shout out to Dallas, the whole mosque and Southwest region, holding it down. Okay, and people showing, and thank you everyone who's showing Brother Rashad love around the world. People are, tapping in the chat. Thank you all very much. Here we go. Boom. All right, my next question for you, sir, is once people who are born in any religion, whether it's Amish, Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, but primarily in the nation or in the Islam period, people take their Shahada. But if you are born in it, you get to a certain age, you have to make a decision. Do you accept what you've been given or do you go out and venture and then go somewhere else? What was it about the nation of Islam that made you say, this is the best fit for me?
Man, that's a really good question. I like the way you frame that question because that's real, bro. I'll let you in on a bit of a path that I took in my life. Being born in the nation, man, some people believe that it's really easy because you got the supreme wisdom since you were little. But they don't understand that that comes with another set of trials, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
now you have the power of the supreme wisdom and the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad pulling on you, but you also got to have this world, bro. And so when I was with my wife, she wasn't my wife then. We had two children at the time, and we were planning on getting married. And my wife is Mexican, and so she heard Brother Abel first. I'm bringing this somewhere.
Yes,
And
sir.
so she said, "Man, he talking strong." He said he black, right? So then she heard the minister. And when she heard the minister, she was hook, line, and sinker, brother. She was ready to join. So she came to me and said, "We need to join the nation." I said, "Who are you telling?" I'm the one that put, you know, but that made me laugh. And I said, "Man, all praise due to Allah. If my wife is saying that, we really need to get serious." So we stood up together, we wrote our letter together, brother. We recited on the same night and came in
Mm.
the fold together. I say that to say, man, that before I became serious about being a Muslim member in the Nation of Islam, I still had worldly ways. I hadn't fully made my mind up. Although I loved the minister, the teachings, I loved everything about Islam. I myself, I wasn't fully prepared to go 100% in. Because you can't really do this and not be 100% in, or striving to be, I should say, because this is a mighty work. It really is. And if you straddle in the fence, it's going to present some problems down the road. So that's when I made my choice. I had a family, I had a young family. I was about to get married to my wife, who I'm married to now for 6 years, thank Allah. And it was through her, brother, that she said, "Let's get serious about this." So I submitted.
Mm. Okay, yes, sir. Shout out to your wife. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And speaking of your wife, how important has she been to your development as a man?
Oh man, I hope you got another 2 hours. Now, man, brother, I believe Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said marriage is one half of faith.
That's right.
Right? And it's a lot to that. But if you just put that in the context of man and woman coming together, a woman's nature, she has a way of pulling things out of you that wouldn't come out unless you were engaged in marriage with her. And it's not a bad thing. A woman is seeks to be satisfied, yet it seems like they never are. You know, just being honest. And what it is, brothers, because they know who we are. Our potential is to be gods. So if we are that and we're striving to be gods, then their job is to keep pulling us higher and higher. A man by himself can have a nice home, a nice car, live well and eat well. We'll be content for the rest of our lives, but not if you have a wife. A wife
Mm-hmm.
will want more, and not because she's greedy, it's because she sees that we can live better, think better, act better, live longer. So what does that require? That requires the leader of the household, the man, to keep growing, you know. And so that's the best way I can put it. Man, my wife, brother, she's the for me, she's the perfect help me. Uh man, I can go on, bro. I probably could teach a lecture. I'm probably gonna teach a lecture next time on this, brother. My wife she's a true MGT. That's the best way I could put it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Okay, Rashad, go ahead and teach. You know, people bear witness to that
All
all
praise
around
to
the
the Lord.
world. Yes, sir. Everybody's stepping in. Thank you all very much. Um, Brother Demerick said that's his, home miles. He's from Oklahoma Study Group now. Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Demerick. Thank you for always showing love. Thank you, Sister Mina Hanan says, ASA family, finishing up dinner, but listening. Thank you again. Thank you, Sister Amina. That means a lot to us. Walaikum salam, Sister Naima. Walaikum salam, 147 Savage, representing Flint, Michigan. I wish you would tell us your names so we can shout you out, but whatever. Yes, sir. And
Right. No doubt.
and thank you to everyone who always shows love. Brother Merrick, reach out to me on social media if possible so we can set up an interview with you. People are saying, teach, brother, go off, brother, half faith, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and people, all that good stuff, bear witness to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Our next question for you is, have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Hmm. You know, I listen to you ask that question a lot when people are interviewed, and I always find it interesting, the answers. I would be lying if I said I never faced fear, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's built in a human being as a defense mechanism, right? But it's only a problem when we allow fear to master us and we aren't mastering the fear, because fear can be used as a tool. Absolutely, I've been faced with fear. Man, brother, nothing really comes to mind. But I'll say this, I think we face fear all the time. And the best way to overcome it is to realize that there's only one being in the universe that is really qualified for us to fear him. We fear no one but Allah. So when we're faced with a situation that brings fear to us, then we have to call on he who is only qualified amongst us or in the universe to be feared.
Yes,
And then
sir.
you overcome it. Now, okay, one came to mind. If you don't mind, I'll share it. Man, the first time I was asked to give my first lecture, brother, I don't think I slept the whole week, brother. Student Minister Shahi, if you listen to this, brother, yeah, you about to find out I was afraid, man. I serve as a second officer on the captain staff under Student Captain Amir, my big brother. I love dearly. I love him dearly, man. And
Yes, sir.
Student Minister asked me to give a lecture, and I was like, I've never done that before. I've done public speaking, but I've never done that to this magnitude. And brother, I take these teachings really seriously because, as you know, and as we're taught, the people of God are sacred.
That's right.
And when you go in front of the people of God, one mistake can be dire because it can cause someone to hear that mistake and act on the mistake and cause them to go down the wrong path.
Yes,
So we have to
sir.
be right and exact at all times. So me knowing this, I said, man, I don't know if I'm ready to give a full lecture yet. So I'm hoping he would call me and put it off another month or something. But when the day came, brother, I did what I said earlier, man. I called on the God. I said a full prayer before I went on stage, and I asked him to take the fear out of me and put in its place confidence in his word and allow me to just be a physical representation of the word that's coming through me. And I overcame the fear, and I'm about, I think, 12 lectures in now. I'm a little more comfortable, although I'm still respectful of that rostrum. So that was, one of the most recent times, man, that I was actually faced with fear. But man, I had to overcome it, brother. Call on the God.
Oh, praise this Lord. Go ahead, Reverend Shahid. Yes, sir.
No
And shout out
praise.
to Student Shahid for seeing that in you, to ask you to get it, to speak at the mosque and on the rostrum. Because as soon as I heard you, this is my first time meeting you, but as soon as I heard you, I was like, oh, he's a minister. I was like, he's a minister. Okay, bro, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So the fact that you're very serious and intense and ministerial and father, all of that good stuff. How are you friends with me on social media and I make jokes and all that kind of stuff? Like, how is that possible? What
That's funny, man.
I'm
It's funny I come off as that type of brother. I guess because we meet, if you met me in person, you will get a totally different vibe from me, man.
okay, yes, sir. I'm
Yes,
like, okay,
sir.
this brother's definitely judging me.
No, no, sir, no, sir, man. I'm telling you. Let me tell you, Josh. I'm telling you, man. I've listened to your podcast for years, bro. And man, it really is an honor. That maybe that's what you getting, the vibe you're getting. It's an honor to be on this podcast because, man, you're doing a work, and you hear this all the time. But I gotta say, bro, you're doing a work that is so mighty that only Allah is moving you right now. He's moving you in a way to allow believers like myself and others who listen to your podcast to hear testimonies from the rank and file soldier all the way up to may Allah be pleased with him, brother Josh, the Honorable Minister was Farrakhan's son. Man, I'm telling you, I get so much fuel from the believers through this podcast that maybe I'm coming off as serious because I'm like, man, I gotta kind of hold my own up here. But man, I thank you, brother, and I
Thank
thank
you,
Allah for you.
Rashad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. All praises to Allah means a lot to me, and you are the reason, and others. The reason I do the podcast. It means so much to me to hear from you because you keep me going every Sunday. I'm like, Dad. I talk to my father and I say, Dad. I got the word from you. I got the word from the webcast, minister, Joel Osteen, whoever else,
Right.
any motivational speakers that come on TikTok or something. I needed to help me make it through the week. So the People's Podcast, just know that you are giving me information and inspiration as well, sir. Especially your advice for fathers and marriage and all. I'm like, yes, sir. Go ahead, bro. I'm like, you teach
Praise
it.
to Allah.
Yes, sir. People saying all praises to Allah. Beautiful, beautiful. That's right. And brother Jeremiah is tapping in, and these are some powerful interviews. Love the podcast. Brother Musa, come back for part two. We miss you, my brother. You have great history as well. All right, Brother Rashad, we have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you all to each anonymous Cash App. It helps the People's Podcast going. Thank you all very much. And shout out to the Super Chat so I can hear Naima say, I didn't say the Super Chat today. All right. On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Okay, excellent. And Brother Rashad, one more moment. S Enterprise Barber and Beauty Products. They have a plant-based brush wave company, an excellent brush company with kosher waves, with kosher hair. Kosherwave.com is the website with the K. 770-997-6000. Brother Jeffrey Sirsi Muhammad, Sister Stephanie Lusan Muhammad. They are in Africa working on trade and commerce as we speak. Let's make sure we support our family. Wonderful. Okay, yes, sir. And Brother Student Captain Amir Muhammad tapped in. Thank you very much, Brother Amir, and saying assalamualaikum and salute. And we shouted you out earlier, Brother Amir. We gave you nothing but love and respect for you as well as your family, sir. All right. Back to our brother Rashad. Justice or else, 10-10-15. Were you able to make it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So I always tell people that, we're too young for the Million Man March and things of this nature. That's, right. To us, that's going to be as close as we got. You know what I'm saying? To a public event where we were being called, not knowing what we may face. And then most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is saying justice or else and police brutality. There's so much going on. The climate was thick. How did that event personally affect you, sir?
Man, thank you for your question. I wasn't registered at the time. I came with my best friend since the fourth grade, who he actually joined the nation about 3 years ago also. Winston X, shout out to Brother Winston. He also just got married too. But okay. So we went to DC, man. I said, we're going. My wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, but she was pregnant with my first son. I said, you got to stay back because I'm not sure what's going to happen, But we got there, brother, and man, to see it in person, bro, Josh, man, to see the Native Americans with their teepees out representing, right? Our Red family, to see all the different people came from international, different parts of the world to come hear the man of God, he's touched them in some kind of way that's specific to them, that caused them to come from wherever they came from to see him in Washington, D.C. And think about that. The theme was justice or else. So no punks can show up. You know what I mean? You got to come with a certain kind of spirit. So it wasn't just black men or women or anyone that was just domestic in America. It was people from all over the world to come hear him. So when I went and I saw that, brother, it impacted me in such a way that I said, yo, I got to tighten up and really come back into the fold, because my mom and my dad and those who came before me really soldiered so that I could have a future in this, and I'm squandering it. I'm just being honest. So that was one of the building blocks that really pulled me back in, outside of my wife saying, let's go. Man, when I saw who that man is in person, I'm talking about the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, what he did to draw that many people in, and to see him not abuse power, brother, because he
Yes,
could have
sir.
said, let's turn and go attack. He didn't do that, right? So
Yes,
that
sir.
talks about that. That's a measure of his heart, how much love he has for us and for humanity, for him to say this is a day of atonement, but we're called coming for justice or else in God's name. So it impacted me, brother, in that way. Yes, sir.
All praises due to a like teacher, brother Rashad, and I felt the same way. I felt the same spirit, and feel the same spirit from that day. It was a life changing event, and so all
Yes,
praises due to Allah for everyone who was a part of that. My next question for you, sir, is what? This is a question that I want to ask, especially the generation under our parents, nation babies, and all the people under millennials and under who didn't get to experience Stop the Killing tours and all of these things in the 80s and the 90s as an adults and all of that great stuff. What is something that you yearn to see from your nation, from our nation, that for our children and for the next generation?
man, great question, brother. Really good question.
Praise
Honestly, the first answer is I want to see the hereafter in its full fruition, right? But what does that actually look like? When we started having children, my oldest is 8 years old, my
Mm.
second is 7, and my last is 1 year. She just turned a year on the 8th.
Praise
And so what happens is when you're in the nation and you want to keep our children out of this world and in our own, you begin looking for practical institutions to put them in: schools, clubs, social clubs, even maybe sports, right?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
in
sir.
order to do that, we have to put them in their stuff. And so if our children spend time in their institution, when I say there, I mean this world, in their institution, that means they have our children's attention and their mind. So what I would like to see our nation produce more consistently is schools for all of its members, man. Uh, and after college, we should be offering jobs come out of college in Muslim businesses, so that we don't have to worry about working for them. Even if you become a worker, you're not necessarily a business owner off the bat or right off the bat. If you're an engineer, you go into an engineering firm that's ran by Muslims. So we know at the time of prayer, everybody stops and pray. You don't have to say, hey, boss, I need to go make prayer. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that, brother.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
something that
sir.
we really have to work on. And I know we will, because the victory is already promised for us, but it's a matter of actually putting our boots on the ground and getting it done. And I'm speaking this way again because I do have children. So every day we homeschool our children. My wife does. So every day is a constant battle for their minds. So the best way to do it is to keep them home and teach them.
Mm. All praises to yes, sir. Shout out to your wife and all of the mothers who homeschool their children. My sister Naima, I look at her with the way she, you know, does, teaches my niece Milani. I'm just like, now mind you, I'm about to go into education as a teacher. You know what I'm saying? I graduated to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
teaching, and I'm like, I still couldn't picture, teaching my own children or niece and nephew in the home. It's intense. It's one on one. You right there, and
man.
you know what you got in your hands. So shout out to all of the mothers who are doing that. May Allah continue to bless the mothers. That's very important for me, brother Rashad. When you said sports, I mean, growing up, my parents, they were super out of touch. I was like, Mom and Dad, come on, like Jesus Christ, let's go, let's go
Yeah,
now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Let me get in there. I want to play. I want to play. And so I truly would hope to see that. There's a brother in Los Angeles named Brother Steven who has the Nation Titans. And when I saw that, I interviewed him. And I saw his sons, and they're the Nation Titans, and they're actually competing against others, parks. And I was like, what is this? I was like, this is such a great sign for the
man.
future of the nation to see that the Nation Titans, and that they're the people, some of the athletes from there have gone on D1 schools, D2, to play
Wow.
sports. So that's I believe is the future as well. So shout out to the STEM. I know student minister Shahid,
Oh
his
yeah.
wife, they STEM and science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of that great stuff. But also shout out to the sports as well.
No doubt. Gotta have balance.
Gotta have balance, yes, sir. Speaking of balance, brother Rashad, what is your favorite album of all time, sir?
Man, I knew he was gonna ask me that, brother Josh, and I don't have one, brother. Man, that's a good question though, man, because music really gives you an understanding of a person, you know.
Yes, sir.
Man, brother, I listen to everything. I'll tell you this: my first introduction to music probably was jazz from my
Okay.
father. So my favorite jazz musician is Pat Metheny.
I
Excellent
understand.
jazz. Yeah, check him out. Check him
Okay,
out.
yes, sir.
He still make music and it's still excellent. He's one of the top jazz musicians. Man, what's the name? Black is the color. What's his name? Joe Sample. He's a good jazz musician. But man, I don't
Okay.
have a favorite album, brother. I'm a big hip hop head, so J. Cole is probably my favorite rapper right now. But Nas is my favorite rapper overall, legendary. Stillmatic was my first hip hop album that really drew me in.
Okay. Okay.
Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt.
Can't go wrong
Man,
with
brother.
reason.
I'm 33, so that's
Yes,
kind of
sir.
my niche, kind of the late Nas and late Jay-Z music. But yeah, I can't choose one, bro.
Okay, but I got a question. So when I said earlier before we went live, I said where you from? You said St. Louis, and I said so you from the Lou and you proud. You didn't get that reference?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, shout out to Nelly, and the St. Lunatics.
The Nelly St. Louis, they put on for St. Louis, but nobody was. I didn't even know people. I didn't know St. Louis had musicians.
Man, yeah. I mean, no, all love to Nelly, bro. All know. I grew up on a different kind of music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I
So,
understand. I understand.
we got our St. Louis anthems, but when it comes to me listening to music in my car, man, J. Cole, Kendrick,
I
Nas,
mean,
Jay
no, I
Z.
get, no, I get it, I get it.
You know
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm saying?
But it's not just you; it's other people from other cities. I'm like, your favorite album? They be like Public Enemy. I'm like, but you live in Houston? Like, you got no Houston artists? Like, you ain't got
Right.
nobody for the home team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, brother Musa says, Pat, I don't want to butcher the name. Metheny says, "Are you going?" is one of his favorites.
Hmm.
So yes, sir. So shout out to Musa. So you putting us on. Thank y'all. Arts and culture, y'all giving it, teaching the people podcast. So while y'all judging me for saying EI, you know what I'm saying, y'all giving us some balance with some
I ain't
jazz.
no judgment, Blake. It's all good.
Y'all giving us some love with some jazz as well. All right, brother Rashad, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Man, legacy. You know, I don't know, brother. I would say at this point of my life is just my legacy. I wanted to tie in to the legacy of the Nation of Islam, if you will, and all of the great ones that came before me. Because really, when you physically transition, that's it. That's a period to your story. What really lives on is if you were in alignment with what Allah wanted you to do in this dispensation of time.
Yes, sir.
So that's what really carries on in your children's minds and hearts. Just like I'm talking about my father and my mother now, is because of what they did in their time to help the Messiah. Uh, and if they had not done that, who knows what I would be at. So I'm just trying to pick up the torch and carry it on so my son and my daughters can do it, when I physically move on, you know.
Oh, praise
Bro,
the
Josh,
Lord.
can I say something to you, brother?
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, about 2 minutes.
Sure.
You mentioned something that what basically caused me to get serious and join the nation, right? Something along those lines. Do you mind if I share a quick story?
Of course, this is what we do.
Okay. The only reason I'm sharing this story is because brother R. Vince, he inspired me to say this. I wasn't gonna say this, but I listened to a lot of his interviews and I want to share it because had he not shared his experiences, I wouldn't want to share mine. When I first moved to Texas with my down here, my father lived in Texas. My first year, I had dropped out of college, man, and I was trying to figure out life. This is before I met my wife. I had no children. It was just me. And my dad was like, man, take a breath and I'm going to teach you. He taught me golf, right? Golf
Okay.
teaches you focus. It teaches you how to focus and you can't blame no one else for your errors but yourself. Really good lesson in golf. So we were at the driving range, basically, a place called Top Golf. And in the summer in Texas, if you don't know, in the dead heat of Texas, a lot of times there's not a lot of clouds. It's just clear blue sky. I was hitting the ball, brother, and my father was sitting behind me in a chair, and he said, "Don't move." And I said, "Don't move." This is what we're playing golf. He said, don't move and look up. And so I thought it was a spider. I don't know why, brother. I thought it was a spider. So I said, man, just smack it and kill it, whatever. He said, man, look up. I didn't want to look up. So he grabbed my head and told me to look up. And I didn't see what he was talking about until I said, I can't see anything. And I saw 5 wheels, 5 baby planes, me and my father in the sky. And they were moving really slow in a V formation. It was 3 on one side and 2 on another. Now, this was a clear blue sky
Yes,
in the
sir.
middle of Texas. And now it was a bunch of people around, but they didn't see it. They were hidden, totally silent, too low, too high to be a helicopter, but too low to be an airplane. They were exactly how the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad described them, spheres, metallic. And so the reason I saw them is because a glare from the sun bounced off all 5 of them and it caught my eye. And brother, when I tell you, it threw me off because I wasn't in that mode. We were playing golf. And so it allowed us, me and my father saw them together. It allowed us to see them for maybe about 6 seconds straight. We're staring at them and then they cloaked. Almost like when you drop a pebble in water and you see the ripples.
Yes, sir. Yes,
They
sir.
did like that and then they vanished, but they never left. And
Mm.
so we looked at each other and my dad looked at me and punched me in my shoulder and said, Allahu Akbar. And so I brought that story up, man, brother, because for once, our events inspired me to share that testimony, but also, man, because had I not seen that, that component of our teachings may not be as strong of a testimony for me, because we know the government talks about them, but when you see them yourself and have a witness, it's like, man, bro, all praises due to Allah. So me and my father, we talk about that all the time and try to find meaning in it. But as I look back where I was then to now, I see that it was almost like a gentle nudge. Get up, get your tail back on track. All praises due to Allah. I want to share that, man.
That
Inshallah, it has
praise
some
be to
meaning.
Allah. Yes, sir. And thank you for that, Rashad. I mean, you almost let us get out of here without you. You gotta leave. You gotta. But I like how you did that. You buried the lead. You want to, build up the tension for the great story. I got it. I see what you did there,
Yes,
Rashad.
sir. Yes, sir. You know
Yes,
it.
sir. No, and people, of course, bear witness to that. I'm gonna got something to follow up with that. Yes, sir. All praises to Allah. People bear witness. So the other day, or 3 days ago, my cousin called me and she FaceTimed me. And she said, what she said, I just tried to FaceTime your brother. He didn't pick up. My brother's name is Rashad as well. And I'm like, you straight? She's like, yeah, I got to FaceTime you and Rashad at the same time. She FaceTimes me and my brother, and then she shows the clouds. Mind you, she's not super deep, in the nation, all of this good. But she ain't never talk about no baby planes, no mother planes, no nothing. So she's like, y'all don't see that? We like, girl, are you high? You on that crack? You know what I'm saying? Like, because we can't see nothing. We don't see nothing. She
Right.
said, it's right. She said, I'm looking at it. I'm like, what you looking at? We don't see nothing. We just see the cloud. She was like, I'm trying to zoom in. So we trying to help her zoom in and pinch the thing, and we can't see it. So she was like, it's the mother plane,
Mm.
right? She said, I'm looking. She said, it's big. It's not no baby plane. She said, I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, girl, go closer, walk around. We try to give instructions and stuff. So it's just a bearing of witness that it's real
Right.
and that it's in. I mean, like this is like 3 or 4 days ago. We couldn't. She was so locked in, and I'm like, talk to it. You know what I'm saying? I said, say something like him. Say something like, what I'm saying? Salute it. You know what I mean? I'm all drilling. I'm like, salute, say Allahu Akbar. And I don't know what to say. And it just was a beautiful testimony. I won't say her name yet because I'm gonna wait for her to come on the podcast and tell her own story. But it's that was a very powerful testimony. Of course, this and it should allow many more stories will come where people
Yeah.
begin to bear witness from our side because I'm a big viewer of Joe Rogan, and the guests that come on Joe Rogan,
Me
they
too.
talk about it like it ain't. I'm talking about like it ain't.
Yeah.
Like they talk about like yeah. So the other day I saw some. Yeah, I seen UFO. It's definitely a thing. And you be
Mhm.
like,
Right. Right. Right.
they say it's just suggested regular, and then they go back to talking about something else. But he's like, yeah, it's definitely real. Yeah, I saw one over here. I saw him. He has scientists on there, and that's on people's podcasts to show from the Nation of Islam viewpoint. Well, we know who flies them and who is aboard and their mission. But so I'm glad that when you say it like this, it should allow in the future it will become so common knowledge to the public. They'll be
Right.
like, yeah, I saw 7 the other day. Yeah, girl, boy, you late. I ain't telling.
Right. Inshallah. Right.
Inshallah, yes, sir. So praise be to Allah. People are bearing witness, saying Allahu Akbar. And thank you, Brother Ma. Thank you, Brother Demeric. And thank you, the farmer, the God. So everybody who's watching, praise be to Allah. Can't wait for this to be uploaded to YouTube. Brother Rashad, do you ever come to Atlanta or do I have to go to Dallas. Y'all keep losing. The Cowboys keep losing, so I have no reason to visit no football season. But I'm a Kyrie Irving fan, so
There you go. There we
you know what I'm
go.
saying?
Talking my
Yeah.
language now, brother. Kyrie's the
Yes.
man.
Yes, sir. So
Man, if I'm ever in Atlanta, I'll hit you up, brother. I'll hit you up for
okay,
sure.
and vice versa. I want to go to Dallas. It's someone I know is in Dallas said they have a mall where there's like an ice skating rink or something like big in Dallas or something. So I was like, okay, that
Yeah.
might be a reason to go to Dallas. And yeah, shout out to the Mavericks. So
Yeah,
and
come
I
through.
want to hear you teach. I want to hear you teach, brother.
Well, yeah, brother. I tell you what, you come to Dallas, man. I don't know if I don't know if I'll be teaching that week, but we'll make sure to take care of you, man. You'll enjoy your stay up here, brother. The believers will
Yes,
take care
sir.
of
Praise be to Allah. And I got to help brother student captain Amir with his form on his free throws anyway. So we'll go to David Buster's and something. We'll work it
you.
out.
Yeah. Get student captain out, man. You got a nice little jumper. I
Yes,
can't
sir.
talk too bad to him. You my captain. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Well, I want to thank you, sir. Thank your family, and I look forward to meeting you, brother Rashad, inshallah. Shout out to the mosque, uh, Dallas, mosque number 48. I really admire you all spirit. I admire the camaraderie of the believers, and of course the student minister and student captain. I don't know the other student laborers, but shout out, I just know how brother Mir and brother Shahid. I
Yes,
love
sir.
the spirit, and I see y'all going in the community and doing all the outreach stuff that y'all do. So shout out to the Muhammad Muslim 48.
Praise be to Allah, man. Honor is mine. I really appreciate you, brother. And Allah willing, I said something good that could help somebody because this podcast definitely helped me a lot. Praise be to Allah.
Praises to yes, sir. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's